So if a Ozark Hillbilly or a country cousin, um, if they sell their house or whatever their homestead and come into this money, what would they buy?
That's a good question. They would, well, they buy a new truck,
A new truck.
for
All
one
right.
thing.
Do you have a pickup truck?
I do.
Okay. Do you have a hound dog?
Yes.
Of course.
And they'd have to think about getting another dog, but they might.
Yeah.
And so they're content. They have tremendous sports activities like run and trot lines, and they're disgusted because they can't run the hounds anymore because there's too many city sillies have moved in. The poor hound dogs are bewildered. They keep running into the houses when they're out chasing foxes. And so there's problems. And then but they like to go squirrel hunting and things like that.
One might consider you an Ozark apologist. So most
Well, yeah.
most city sillies like me, when we think of Hollister, Missouri, actually we don't really think about Hollister, Missouri.
Yeah, you're
But
better off.
why should we think of Hollister, and what should we think of it?
This is the answer to the world's problems right now.
Okay.
Is the country cousin culture. The country cousins have been developing their culture, how to get along and how to deal with harsh stuff for the last several hundred years, maybe going back to the old country, old England, and they've built up this culture of survival that is, I think a lot of people could learn from it. And the main thing is just how to get along. I think if every culture in the world would study the country cousins in the Ozarks, they wouldn't have all that fighting over in Iraq or Afghanistan. I mean, that's stupid. You save your energy for survival, yourself, but instead of fighting among yourselves. And that's another thing that's misunderstood is like the fighting between clans and stuff like that. McCoys. And there's not as much of that.
Oh, the Ozark family feuds and
Yeah,
stuff. You don't
stuff
see a lot of that.
No, they get along. They have more fun. And they have stress busting things. They go to each other's houses on Friday or Saturday night and have music sessions, and the wives and gals bring cookies and pies, and they have coffee and social get-togethers, fun things. How many neighborhoods in the city do something like that? Well, they should. So anyway, that's just
Closer together, you'd think they would, but
well,
not
yeah,
quite.
yeah, they're just crammed together. But so they've worked out through the centuries. The Ozarkians worked out these methods for getting along and relaxing and taking it easy. But of course, they work hard. Don't get me wrong, because making a living on flint rocks is not easy. It's one of the hardest things in the world.
How does a hillbilly make money?
Well, they trade a lot. They're getting the barter system, and so there's a lot of trading going on. It's hard to measure the finances here.
Under the radar.
I don't know whether they teach this at the Horton School of Business at Harvard or not. But they're always out looking and says, Joe got a mule. That looks pretty good. I wonder if I could take and sell that to Ralph down the way. And so this is going on all the time. Wheeling, dealing, trading, and people trading all kinds of goods. And Oh, by the way, another helpful thing that could be learned by other cultures is when somebody new moves to the Ozarks, the neighbor will take a loaf of bread and a jar of jelly over to the newcomer, kind of the original welcome wagon, friendly. That's an old Ozark culture thing. So it's friendly. And also, what city sillies don't understand, say a city silly moves to the Ozarks.
Okay.
He thinks, gee, I'm lonely here, but he doesn't realize that with the country cousin, Ozark Hillbilly down the road is looking out after him. A very faithful person. They care about people, and they're looking out after him, watching them like hawks, to see nothing happens to them, They're not protected by their gullibility. Pardon me.
He's not really alone.
No. So, but this is done in a silent way that you don't really know what's going on. So it's got a lot of positive cultures, really.